everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at the Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. I know that might not sound like an inspiring title, and when I first saw that this was in the coming soon list for Steam, I was like, okay, this is a budget price, probably shovelware Diablo clone. Now, it is very Diablo or Torchlight-esque, but it's actually surprisingly competent, at least in the hour or so that I've played so far. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention right off the top of this video that I have heard, I've talked to Total Biscuit and Force Starcraft about this, and they have had some serious performance issues from the game. They've had crashes, multiplayer connectivity issues, and optimization issues when playing the game. I haven't. So, you know, my first-hand experience has been really good, really reliable with the game so far. Again, I've only played about an hour, hour and a half so far. You know, buyer beware as always. Do your due diligence when determining whether or not to buy this game. But again, this is an isometric action RPG where you play as the son of famed monster hunter or vampire slayer Van Helsing, available on Steam for $13.49 for its opening week, $13.50 or so, and $15 beyond that. And for that price, I think this is actually kind of a steal. It's got multiplayer, which I haven't really experience, but just in playing this on single player, okay, lady, I get it, you have breasts, you don't have to fiddle with them all the time, but just in playing the single player, it's got a kind of unique vibe to it that I want to show off here. So I'm going to resume. I am playing as a dude bro Van Helsing on normal difficulty, and I'm level 6, so I'm very, very early on here. But we're going to play. He's got a sweet musket and a cape, as you can see, and we are going to play in single player, and I should be kind of mid-mission. I kind of picked a standalone mission to do right here. Oh no, sadly I am back in the town. But we can do one right now. Let's just walk around for a minute. So this is Dude Bro Van Helsing. Oh, I didn't accidentally mean to click on the well. Let me just skip through the dialogue here for a second. They want us to teleport somewhere, which I don't want to do, but I just want to talk about what is actually going on here. So we're in the town. We're Dude Bro Van Helsing, and we have our little ghost friend who follows us around. This is Lady Katarina. She is bound to the Van Helsing family because our father saved her at some point. So she's basically like our pet in Torchlight 2 terms. Or a follower, if you're going to use like the Diablo notation or nomenclature. So she follows us around, she does damage. This interface should be very, very apparent to you, or obvious what everything is if you've ever played an action RPG before in your life. We've got health, mana, and we also have rage, which is almost like a meter that builds up the more you get hit and hit enemies, and then you can unleash that with some interesting kind of consequences. Now, what I want to talk about here, what makes this really interesting, is that you have these kind of modifiers for your attacks. So, you know, first things first, I can just, like, shoot my gun, as you can see. I guess I accidentally killed a chicken there and got 9 gold, or blew up a barrel or something, and got 9 gold. So we can shoot our guns. We can also switch to swords. We have both melee and ranged combat. But what's the coolest thing about this game, at least in my experience so far, I've been playing primarily with ranged combat, is that we can use our rage and kind of invest it in these little elements here, and we can kind of do chemistry on the fly to create our own special attacks. So, like, attack 1 here is an explosive round, which does extra damage in an area of effect. So maybe we hit 1 and we put 1 element of that in there. 2 is Tar Shot, which slows the target for 75% for 2 seconds. We can put one of those in there. And then this is a Dum Dum round, which just adds the extra damage. So in doing this, we've invested a bunch of our rage meter, which you can see here, into this shot. And then when we shoot it, it will actually exhaust the rage meter, and it will add all those effects to your bullets. So you can kind of almost like create your own attacks on the fly. You're going to see how this works in action as we talk to this guy again.
I'm glad to see you.
Before you run away again, please tell me how to get to Borgova.
If you want to reach Borgova, you must travel through the old mines to the other side of the mountain.
I sense another butt coming up.
But you have to use the ancient ink gate in the swamps. It opens into the tunnels.
It's not easy to find your way around here.
Voice acting is actually totally fine in this game, by the way. So we've gotten some kind of... Oh, I need to sell all my equipment. But, you know, this is the voice acting and the presentation, all of that stuff has actually worked out really well. I don't want to talk to you right now, man. I just want to sell you things. By the way, there are dialogue trees here. I have no time for this. I just want to sell you things. No, maybe later. Can I sell you something? Yes, okay, good. He's given us 2 quests, but I don't want them. So I'm just going to right-click all of this shit out of my inventory because I don't really need it right now. When it comes to, like, Loot Fest games, honestly, I don't really care about loot that much. So that makes me kind of a bad fit for this. But I only care about, like, the core gameplay for the most part. In fact, I don't even want to save this stuff that will actually be helpful for us later. Maybe that. What level do we have to be? 7? Alright, I'm like halfway there. I'll keep that. But I don't, I just don't care about getting loot, which makes it kind of incompatible for me to play these. But from a gameplay standpoint, I like this a lot. I really like on the interface that you can see immediately how things help you. And, you know, what changes you'll get if it's equipped. So this will give us plus 5 HP, plus 5, and a little bit DPS, minus 2 protection, plus 3 spell power. Which means we can go back here and talk to this dude and sell this short blade right here. But let's... Oh, I don't want to put it on her. I want to cross over here. So I haven't actually equipped my Ghost with anything, which might be why she sucks. Largely, I've been doing most of the damage myself. Alright, now let's actually get into some combat here 5 minutes into the video.
We are plagued by the Rusalkus. These evil nymphs have returned to the woods, and they are constantly attacking the village.
What if this time someone attacked back?
Let me guess. You're referring to me, right?
Would you do that?
This dialogue tree stuff, it might seem like it's just aesthetic right now, but there actually have been kind of moral choices. Like, I raided a werewolf lair earlier to rescue this dude, and the werewolf was like, okay, dude, you beat me, but I was just trying to protect this dude. We found him wounded in the forest, and it was just my packed instincts that caused me to fight you for self-defense. And your options were like, alright, I believe you, or sorry, you still have to die. And I chose sorry, we still have to die, and then we murdered him and got some extra items. I don't know what would have happened if we just said, cool, I believe you, and then just left. I guess we could have chosen to let him live, which is an interesting kind of turn of events when most of the time in these games the dialogue is kind of scripted and linear, if you will. So I'm Van Helsing, I'll help you.
I'll help you.
And this will transport us immediately to some kind of quest. And I like that this kind of has like standalone quests in it. You're not always like venturing out into a new environment and then just discovering quests. Oh god, that's a lot of them. Sometimes there's actually just quests where they will like teleport you into an area. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build up my rage first by fighting these guys. By the way, as you might expect, just left clicking here to do damage. There's champions. It's very Diablo and Torchlight-esque. I'm gonna make that comparison a lot, and it should be obvious. I do have a healing ability, by the way, but I also have potions, which you can see down there. So I'm getting my ass kicked a little bit, but that will change. I have a healing ability, which I can use with A, but right now I'm just building up my rage. This is how a lot of my gameplay has gone in Van Helsing so far, is just kind of running backwards from these dudes and building up rage. Let's try doing a special attack. So watch my rage meter down there at the bottom. I'm gonna go, okay, apparently we have to destroy some stuff in order to stop these guys from spawning, maybe. So I'm gonna hit 3, which is our extra damage, and then 1-1, which is gonna give us double explosive damage. Then we'll try to launch an attack on these guys when they get all grouped up, like so, and you can see that we jibbed a lot of them right there. Alright, so let's start making our way over here, and we will protect the shop, protect the village church. Maybe we have to come back here and kill these guys first. I kind of am looking at those markers on our map, though, and thinking, like, those are giant fuck me markers, which indicate we should probably try to save them in the future. Oh god, I may die here, actually. I've never died, so I don't know what happens. They have decided to just get trapped here, which is kind of interesting. But these enemies keep spawning in down here, so I'm not sure if we should continue to fight them. In any case, Van Helsing one-on-one with all these enemies, as you might expect, is pretty darn strong. But when you get a group of enemies, a horde, if you will, it becomes much, much more difficult in order to survive. My ghost dies over and over again, and has never really been an enormous help for me, but she does add like a nice little kind of foil to my narration most of the time. Like, you know, Van Helsing's kind of that cocky, kind of archetypical character, and you know, she kind of provides a counterpoint to that in her own way. I'm not saying the story in this game is remarkably deep, but you know, it does a good job for the most part of keeping me interested, at least again so far. I'm not, by the way, saying that this game is better than Torchlight 2 or anything like that, but what I am saying is that this game is much, much better than I'd originally anticipated. Again, you know, buyer beware with respect to those issues that I mentioned earlier with the possibility of the game crashing a lot. But in talking to Force, he mentioned that he wanted, or he expected the game to get patched at some point in the near future, so that's cool. So we're gonna kill these minions here. I think there's one, oh, this is the boss right here, so we'll just attack her with a slow. It kind of reminds me, like, mixing these attacks on the fly kind of reminds me of playing, like, Diablo as Invoker or something like that. So, you know, Invoker, the hero from Diablo, or from Dota 2, that has all of those spells that he has at his disposal that he kind of creates on the fly. Kind of reminds me of that, which is kind of interesting. I've never really seen that in a loot fest isometric action RPG like this before. So we're going to equip this new armor. I don't know if we want to equip the flambage here, and we cannot equip that yet. Okay, good enough. We're going to level up fairly soon anyway, probably over the course of this video. So we've protected the village church. You know, I mean, in the standard action RPG form, a lot of these objectives are pretty repetitive, you know. You've probably seen this mission in one form or another 30 or 40 times over the course of your gaming career at the very least. That's not to say it's bad by any stretch of the imagination, but what I want to stress here is that as much as I like this game, it's certainly not reinventing the wheel. This is not going to change the way you see gaming for the rest of your life or anything like that. Did I stop them from... Yes, okay, that was very quick. The game has not been super easy so far, but what I will say, not to get into the drudge of the fucking Diablo 3 debate again, which always causes people on both sides of the fence to get furious, but this is not as easy as Diablo 3 on normal, which is awesome because it means I can't just hold left click to win. I don't really have anything super negative to say about Diablo 3 except that I didn't really find it up my alley, but I appreciate that this game is a lot less hand-holdy, and I have oftentimes found myself coming close to death. As you can see, you know, even over the course of this video so far, I found myself close to dying a few times. From a graphical standpoint, I think the game looks really good, especially considering, again, this is a budget price title. I kind of hate that distinction that you're like, oh, this game looks good for a game that's 15 bucks. I think games kind of either look good or they don't, and, you know, this game looks fine. It looks basically on the same level as something like a Path of Exile, which I have not spent a whole lot of time with, but am familiar with and have played to a certain amount. Don't die here. Don't die here! I told you not to die, and now you're starting to die, and that is not sitting too well with me. If I can just make them explode, good. Alright, so we probably have stopped them from getting that other gate. Let's just continue onwards here. Again, I would like to stress that this is repetitive, but the thing that kind of makes it rise above just a mere mediocre action RPG, again, for lack of a better word, a mere, you know, average or mediocre Diablo-like, if you will, is the fact that it has this kind of cool mixing mechanic that you can use on the fly. Now, I haven't really used my melee attacks, but you can do the same thing with your melee attacks. I kind of forgotten what each one does. Obviously, these are probably better in a close quarters combat situation, but my character is not really built for that, at least as far as I know so far. That's through my own agency, by the way. Like, you can control the kind of stat points and skill points that you attribute to your character, as you might expect. And again, unlike Diablo 3, you can actually choose where those stat points go and whatnot. Did we level up? Oh no, our reputation went up. So when your reputation goes up, you can take a new perk. So we can see what we've got here. Plus 20 rage, which would make this meter just larger. Plus 10% damage for Lady Katarina and plus 10% for us. Plus 10% damage while at max range. When she dies, it takes her less time to respawn. Plus 10% efficiency for potions. The first attack has a 10% critical chance against every enemy. That's pretty awesome. Sure, let's try that. Or your hero receives an additional inventory page. Let's try the critical chances, which is what I've been using so far. And I just want to quickly check out what my abilities are. Ah, come on. I wanted to see what 1, 2, and 3 here. Attack or ignores 33% of enemy physical resistance. That doesn't really seem too up my alley. Stuns the enemy for 1 second, or plus 50% melee damage. Let's do stuns and extra damage here. So again, you know, you can kind of tailor your character as you see fit. Ooh, with your, when you have the option to put skills in, which you will see in just a moment when I level up. Well, maybe not just a moment, but soon when I level up. You can choose, do you want to tailor your character? It's not like there's any classes as far as I can tell, but you kind of just decide on the fly whether you want to be, you know, a ranged character primarily, or you want to be a melee character that's a little bit tankier. Or, you know, you can focus on spells and stuff like that. I barely used mana at all, really. Oh, I don't quite have enough to do the ability that I wanted to do here. So yeah, it's kind of neat how there's no classes. You're playing as the same character every single time. It takes a little bit of the customization element out of it at first, it seems. But to be honest with you, this to me seems like you have the opportunity to create kind of more unique and divergent characters than in, you know, again, that game that shall remain nameless. I'm not trying to compare this to Diablo 3 to be a dick to Diablo or hop on that, like, anti-Diablo circle jerk. I respect that a lot of people like that game. It's not really my cup of tea. That's all I'm going to say about that. And this kind of is more of my cup of tea. It's also got that kind of unique setting and aesthetic to it to a certain extent. I mean, all of these games kind of ape from the same... they pull from the same well, if you will, of... oh, come on, let's get the kill there. Of this kind of like Victorian Gothic style. It's the second time I mentioned that today when I did the Let's Look at the Yogg as well. You know, to a certain extent, this is based more on history as opposed to just a nondescript fantasy world, which I appreciate. There's room for both of those to coexist, but it's kind of unique in that sense. That it actually focuses on kind of like an alternate fictional history as opposed to, you know, like another world as in Middle-earth or something like that. Again, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other for the most part, but still, I've found it refreshing, shall we say. So I'm just going to run away until my skills are off cooldown here, and if these guys are still chasing me, we will drop an explosive shot in there, which should do some damage. It's possible that the game is not difficult at all, and maybe I'm just playing it really poorly. Again, I'm still very much on the first, like, journey of my time through this game so far. I am only level 6, which represents just a little bit over an hour of play. But I like the structure of the game, I like the way it plays, and I really, really like the way that you can mix these skills on the fly to kind of create some interesting stuff that is kind of unique to each player. It forces you to constantly be, like, on your toes with respect to what you're kind of hammering in there to adjust your shots or augment your shots. which I like, as opposed to something, you know, even in Torchlight, to get off the Diablo horse for a little while. I really like Torchlight too, but for the most part, I was going through that game just like holding down the left click button the whole time. Maybe that's the fault of the player as opposed to the fault of the game, but I appreciate that this one forces me to be a little bit more active, and I think I'm having more fun with it as a result. Please let this healing skill come off cooldown quickly. I want to make sure that I'm not abusing my potions too much, because I want to make sure that I have those to use. I believe you can actually set a combo which allows you to just store specific combinations of like augments, as I've mentioned, and that's totally cool. But I like hammering it in on the fly as well. So, oh, there we go. We've returned to this den of infamy here. Let us just continue killing these guys. As you can see, my ghost is dying all the time. There is a perk, by the way, that allows you to die, and when you die, you only become corporeal. Or, sorry, the opposite, I guess. You become ethereal, and then you'll respawn a little bit later with no penalties, I think. So, okay, we already succeeded here. I guess we will go talk to the mayor of the village, and then we'll probably get some kind of quest reward here. So let's pop in here.
You did it. You banished the Rusalkas for good.
Monsters never disappear for good, but you'll be safe for a while.
Alright, so it didn't really waste too much time with the flavor there, but I do appreciate that this does feel like a real world for some part. And I've never seen this dog before. I wonder if I can shoot it. He got really mad at me when I came in here for the first time. So, you know, I'm very much at that first, like, level of quests in the game where, you know, you come to the town for the first time and all of a sudden everybody has fucking skills for you or reasons for you to be there. Not skills for you, sorry, like quests for you. Let's see what we have on our map right now if I just bring this up. This is Croakwood, this is Gallows Bog, and this is the way to the Gorgon Pass. So I think we want to find the Ink Gate leading to the mines, which I believe will take us out here. I don't know why it says Nutty Stefan.
Mighty creatures control us from above.
For real, decent voice acting in this game. You know, I kind of expected coming in here that it was going to be a little bit half-assed or, you know, just not hitting above your weight class, I guess you could say, for a game like this. But it works. It works totally fine. So I wanted to show up this area, too, because this is very much your traditional, you know, Diablo-like style area. Where we've got kind of this open world, and we're just going to slowly paint the map, basically, so that we can actually see where we're supposed to go. We have a sign here. What does the sign say? Markovna Forest. Can I look at my map now and see maybe where we want to go? This is the Werewolf Den. This is where I had that, like, boss fight earlier. So I think maybe we want to go down this time, and we're looking for the Ink Gate that leads to the mines. And, you know, we're going to be getting into a lot of gameplay that is probably reminiscent of, you know, stuff that you have either seen or done before yourself. And that's totally fine. Again, this is not a game that reinvents the wheel by any stretch of the imagination. But I could totally see this being a fun time and a cheap time for, you know, you and your friends to kind of hang out with one another, which is totally cool with me. These kind of games, for the most part, are not my cup of tea, although they very much used to be when I was a little bit younger. So, you know, if people want to spend time getting into a game like this, this is a pretty good opportunity to do so, I would say. You know, these kind of games come out a couple of times a year, a few times a year. I know a lot of people are really into Path of Exile as well, and I know Torchlight 2 deservedly got a lot of positive press. That's not to say that there's no room for coexistence here, you know. Torchlight 2 is good, Diablo 3 has a certain audience, which is fine, and, you know, maybe this can find it as well, assuming those tech issues that supposedly exist can be sorted out. Again, I can't stress that enough. I would feel real bad if you bought this game and then ended up having the same issues as some other people have had, so definitely do your research. And check out the Steam forums and stuff like that and figure out what the issue is and if it's been resolved before you actually purchase it yourself. But I will say, firsthand experience, I've experienced basically no frame rate stuttering, no crashes at all. And so far I've had a really good time with the game. Much to my surprise, by the way, given the kind of title. And then, you know, I know I realize that makes me seem somewhat kind of like an asshole and biased that I would judge a game by its title, but everybody does, man. Admit it, when you saw Dollar Dash, you were like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this game. I would love to be pleasantly surprised, but sure, let's pick up some of this stuff. Don't need to pick up all of it. Like I said, I really don't care about loot at all in this game. This lowers our DPS, so I don't really want it. That seems like a good choice. That seems like a good choice. Anytime there's like an objective positive, then I like to, yeah, sure, we'll use that too. I don't like that. I don't like anything that lowers our DPS. I kind of play these games, and every game, I suppose, similar to the way that I play like Isaac. There is a waypoint for us. The Diablo 2 runs strong in this one, as you can see. Now we're just going to continue doing our explosive shots here. I also realize I'm cognizant of the fact that when I play these games, I am like the most boring player of these games possible. I don't min-max anything. I don't give a shit about loot. In fact, I spend like all of my time using ranged weapons, just holding down left click on the enemy for the most part. And when I level up, which is what I'm playing for right now, to try to get a level so you can see how the leveling up system works. And there's an admirable degree of kind of character customization and player agency when it comes to the level up side. Oh, we've got some like Halo stuff here where the, we could find ourselves in the midst of this combat, or we could just let it happen. Yeah, I almost always take passive skills or anything that like improves our critical hit chance. So, again, I understand the fact that I am super boring when I play these games. But that's the way I like to play them. What can I say? I prefer going for those like mathematical increases as opposed to, the flashy new skill upgrades or anything like that. So I think she said something, but I wasn't really paying attention, which is probably going to be the death of me. This is our werewolf den here. Oh, did we level up? We did level up. Okay, so let's go here. Level up. You can see that we have 4 basic attributes. Willpower, which increases our mana points. Luck increases our critical hit chance and also our magic find. Body increases our HP and also gives us a defensive bonus and melee damage. And, hey, I was having some fun here. Let me close my skill menu. Might as well take out these guys first. Hopefully I can find a way to get back to that because I don't remember the hotkey. It's probably C if I had to guess for character. Yes, okay. And dexterity, which gives us better range damage, which is actually something I should be focusing on intently. So let's put that all up in there. And now we will open up our skills menu, which I hope is S. It is not. Okay, where is that here? Skills, K. Okay. And you can see there's 3 different kind of paths that we can take here. One of them is Mystic Warrior. This is like our melee damage mostly. Occult Hunter is our range skills. And Tricks and Auras allows us to upgrade our spells effectively. Our auras are like passive paladin style buffs, and our tricks are kind of spells that we can cast. So I've got 5 skill points. I'm going to level up my healing a little bit, and then I'm going to go back to Occult Hunter, and I'm just going to keep stacking up. Again, I'm super boring when I do this. I'm stacking up my like ranged, just basic range damage, and also my passive ability to increase my rage. No, you know what? I'll continue having advanced tutorials. I think that's a good idea. Sadly, I don't... Oh, maybe if I take 1 away from this, can I get this now? Each kill with shoot regenerates 10 mana. That seems okay. Sure, why not? We'll learn that. Beautiful. I haven't really used mana for too much so far. I don't really know. Maybe we'll check up here and maybe we'll find the entrance to the mines. But if not, I'm fairly confident that I could just sort of head back to town. And, feel fairly good about the time that I spent with the Adventures of Van Helsing so far. I must admit that I keep getting the title wrong every single time just because I find it super generic, and I hope that doesn't offend people, but it just strikes me as kind of... If I saw a movie like this, I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I wouldn't expect good things going in, but the game is surprisingly good. I did fight a boss over here, by the way, this angry scarecrow man. So yeah, you know what? Why don't we quit back to the main menu? Hopefully this won't actually exit the game. If it does, I should probably do my outro now, but yeah, this is the influential... inspiring, the incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. That's it. Now available on PC. It is a Torchlight / Diablo-like that is surprisingly competent. I've been enjoying my time with it so far. I probably won't finish the game on the single player, but if I had other people, like if Josh or Nick or Ohm was playing it, then I could definitely see myself investing a couple of weekend afternoons in this. So, consider getting yourself or your friends involved. It's available on Steam now. There will be a link in the video description. $13.50 for its opening week sale, and $15 after that. In any case, again, buyer beware. Check out other reviews because I have heard that there have been performance issues. I haven't encountered them personally though, so my first-hand experience is pretty positive. It's not going to change the world of gaming, but it's well made. That's pretty much the bottom line, not to misquote The Rock there. In any case, I hope you found this video entertaining and maybe even the least bit informative. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.